Sometimes it depends. I've seen some videos where they do. So, I mean, I'm not trying to say that these people were mistaken. I'm just,
but it's definitely something.
Presenting.
Yeah.
Looking at it from all angles.
Definitely.
I don't know what it was. I'm just saying. To me, it looks like a manatee hump. But
that would
like
be
I just said, this video of this fat snake also looks like a manatee hump too. So, given that manatees are all over Florida, the idea that it is a manatee is much more credible than it's some giant fat snake.
Mm-hmm. But
we do have, these invasive pythons, and I'm sure there's probably a few escaped anacondas out there too that we don't know about. I don't know any specific cases, but
it's
people
possible.
buy them as pets and then let them go,
Definitely.
So let me see here. I'm looking for the Madeira Beach monster. All right. Let's see.
In Madeira Beach, she said it's just north of Sanibel Island.
Well, it's about 150 miles north of Sanibel Island. It's real near Clearwater. But if you go 150 miles south of there, that's where Sanibel Island is.
Yeah, right near Fort Myers, right?
Oh, really? In that neighborhood, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to read this, which goes into the description of what the guy saw in Madeira Beach. Let's see here. Madeira Beach, Florida. Russ Sitlow says a mysterious serpent-like creature that's at least 20 feet long has been swimming in the canal behind his Madeira Beach home, and he wants to find out what it is. The head will come up, and then it will disappear, and then the next thing you know, you'll see a couple of rolls behind it, Sitlow said. Sitlow has named the creature Normandy Nessie after the road he lives on. The 78-year-old retired engineer has also set up a camera to capture video of the creature, and so far he's recorded Normandy Nessie 6 times. When I first saw it in April, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. It was so unreal. But Sitlow is not the only person who claims to have seen a mysterious serpent-like creature swimming around Madeira Beach. Bill Van Aken and his wife Maria said they had both seen it. I didn't see the tail come out of the water like Russ did, but I could see the wake that it was leaving. It had to be at least 15 feet or longer, Bill Van Aken said. After watching some of the videos Sitlow has recorded, a biologist with Fish and Wildlife says the creature in question appears to be a manatee. Like I said, the rate of speed and the size looks indicative of a large adult manatee taking a break and going back down, Andy Garrett with FWC said. But Sitlow insists it's not a manatee. I've swam with manatees, I've swam with sharks, I've swam with sea snakes. There is no way it's a manatee. Sitlow says it's possible the creature could be an anaconda, but he says Normandy Nessie has a tail fin that's not consistent with snakes.
Wow.
Now, interestingly enough, the fact that he said it had a tail fin, some paleontologists that studied the prehistoric snakes, the giant sea snakes, the paleopids I was talking about earlier, that lived in the southeast 35 million years ago, think they may have had a tail fin of some kind.
Very interesting.
Not that far-fetched, because the small sea snakes that we know about living today, some of them have laterally flattened tails. But what they have been, reconstructing on some of these models of the paleopid snakes is actually almost a shark-like tail fin. And there were some marine reptiles from the age of dinosaurs that had vaguely shark-looking caudal fins. Mosasaurs and these prehistoric marine crocodiles called thoatosaukians.
That's
wild. You can imagine a crocodile with flippers like a sea turtle and a shark-looking tail and no scutes but smooth skin. That's what these crocodiles I'm talking about look like. They're supposed to have been extinct, a long time, like maybe 90 million years.
Wow.
So, I don't know. But anyway, what I'm saying to you is that some of these reconstructions of these prehistoric snakes, marine snakes that I'm talking about, do have a tail fin. Mm-hmm. And there's even some reconstruction that show them with a set of back flippers, too. So,
I'm looking at Normandy Road right now. I'm definitely going to have to try to drive down there next time I'm in the area.
Well, swing down here and pick me up, and
we'll hit the Normandy Road. Yeah, because it looks like it goes out over the water, and
well, yeah, the video you can see it's like at a boat dock or something.
Yeah, that's really.
Okay,
I bet he hasn't gone in the water back there for a while.
Yeah. So now I want to move on to the Sanibel Island monster and read you the description of that, which is I guess the first video you were looking at.
And this is by those people?
Yeah, this is from 2014.
And you're right in Bradenton, right?
Yeah. So I'm north of Sanibel Island. I'm probably I'm closer to Madeira Beach than I am to Sanibel Island, but I'm right sort of in between both of them.
Yeah, I see it.
All right, so this is an article, some website called Report from the Florida Zone, Sanibel Sea Serpent, 2014. It says, I just recently became aware of a YouTube video of an alleged sea serpent in the waters off Sanibel Island. The people who saw this creature described it as having a head which resembled a sea otter and a body which looked like a giant 20-foot-long plus snake. Nothing shown in the video remotely looks like what they have described, and to everyone's great misfortune, it appears the couple who video recorded the thing stopped recording after only 54 seconds. In truth, the dark round thing whose back appears briefly breaking the water looks like a manatee or young whale. Cool, but relatively ordinary. Let's see.
Interesting. The one,
But as Jay Cooney points out, Scott Marlowe's The Cryptic Creatures of Florida tells anecdotes about similar-sounding sea serpents with mammalian heads. Two Navy men stationed at the Jacksonville Naval Air Station reportedly observed a long-necked animal with antennae, or horns, atop a head, similar to that of a dog. Two fishermen reported a similar animal on a separate occasion, reflecting some of the Cadborosaurus reports from British Columbia. Alleged Florida sea monster footage taken by Gene Sauerwein caused much excitement when it was revealed on an episode of Monster Quest in 2007, but it was later found to show a manatee with an injured tail and a wayward bearded seal. Then, too, let's remember the 1901 report of an Everglades sea monster said to have a head like a cross between a deer and a catfish. But until someone shows me a specimen or something, I'm not buying any of it. And that's not me talking. That's the guy who read this article.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting how the horns or ears or antennae, how they keep showing up in a lot of the sightings
what
too.
This guy was basically saying is very similar to what I was saying earlier. Is that you look at the video and you see what could very easily be dismissed as a manatee. But if they saw more than you see in the video, you can't say for sure. So I'm trying to I'm keeping an open mind, but I'm sort of skeptical. If you follow me.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
Minded. Now I'm looking here for the description where the lady says it was like an anaconda. Let's see.
The only thing I wish the video, or I'm only able to find one in 240p, but I wish I could find a higher quality video.
Yeah, well, all the only copies I've seen of that are that quality, and just real blurry around the edges.
Might have been filmed on like a.
If you make stills, I've made stills from the video.
Yeah.
And the more you zoom in on them, the blurrier they get. So, you know,
yeah, it's hard to
at a
say.
certain point, it's pretty much a waste of time. Here's another article about the Sanibel monster I'd like to read real quick. It says, what was this giant monster seen off Sanibel Island? Off the southwestern coast of Florida, Sanibel Island is a beautiful locale with as much history as there is natural beauty to be found. In modern use since the early 1830s, occupation by Calusa Indians dates back as much as 2,400 years earlier. Today, 5,200 areas of the island belong to the J.M. Darling National Wildlife Refuge, where everything from sea life to bobcats and coastal birds continue to thrive, but perhaps the wildlife described above is not all that has continued to thrive around the island. In October of last year, a couple in Florida claimed they managed to film a monster while boating off the coast of Sanibel Island, and though startled by the strange and very large creature, they managed to capture some rather exciting footage of it, whatever it may have been. Below is the footage as it appeared online. That's the same Sanibel video that you just watched.
Mm-hmm.
What follows is the only commentary posted on their YouTube channel with the video. Excuse the language we use in the clip. We were scared. It's either a massive anaconda or a sea monster. What came out of the water scared the life out of my fiance and I. We were fishing on our boat in the shallow bay area of Sanibel Island, Florida, on October 6, 2013, when we saw what looked like a bus speeding through the water. At first, we thought we were watching manatee swimming, which we see all the time, but this animal was moving very fast and appeared to be attacking something. All of a sudden, parts of its body sprung out of the water and appeared to have something wrapped up. When it was gone, we honestly don't know what it was, but its head resembled an otter, and the body looked like a giant 20-foot-plus snake. If a cement utility pole was laying down horizontally, that would be the width and length of this creature. So based on that, most of which you don't see in the video, you know, that certainly doesn't sound like a manatee.
No.
The hump you see in the video looks exactly like a manatee, so I don't know what to think, you know?
Yeah, it's hard to say. And, like you said...
I'm hoping at some point to track these people down and talk to them myself and see
that'd be great.
What they say.
Yeah, because maybe, like you said, something happened before they started filming, like it was moving really fast, chasing something.
Yeah. You know, like I've said before, I've only been in Florida since the end of 2011. I mean, I've spent 25 years working in Lake Champlain, but I'm just barely, you know, getting started on this Florida stuff. I've only mainly done archival research. I want to actually start going to these places and doing field research like I do at Lake Champlain during the winter when I'm not at Lake Champlain. But I've got to get some superstructure organized, hopefully with some other cryptozoologists that I know in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to mention that there are other cryptozoologists that were here long before me in Florida who were doing work on these Florida water monsters, namely Scott Marlowe and Robert Robinson. My friend Chuck Pogan has done a little bit too, and I know another guy that lives here in Florida that does work mainly on Bigfoot named Dave Gibson, but he used to live up in New York State near Lake Champlain and claims to have had an encounter with Champ as well. So I just wanted to do a shout out to my friends there and acknowledge their contribution to this whole thing.
That's great.
Probably now, while we have time, one of the main things we probably need to talk about is the monster at West Palm Beach, which is the thing that was on the Monster Quest episode, Gene Sauerwein's monster, which is known by several different names. It's known as the Muck Monster. it's known as